This week on Here for the Right Reasons, Tayshia's integrity gets questioned as Bennett drops an L-bomb.
And I realized in that moment that I love you.
And Tayshia finds out the truth really does hurt.
Have you ever cheated on someone?
Yes.
Plus, Bachelor Nation's Jordan Kimball helps us break down the feud between Noah and Bennett.
Noah's here to stay for at least an episode longer, at least. Because like I said, we're going to start to whittle it down and meet families and things. And I don't think that Noah's going to be one where we meet his family. But Bennett's got to go. The Hellman's mayonnaise has got to get off the shelf. I'm tired of hearing it.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Senior Entertainment Editor, Emily Longaretta. Emily, I'm so excited you're joining us today for Here for the Right Reasons.
Me too. I'm so excited to be here. And the guys got serious this week, revealed their painful past, and a few of them admitted they're falling in love.
I know. I can't believe it. We got some L-bombs, and we are going to break it all down. But let's kick it off with our unfiltered moment of the week, brought to you by Juvederm. As we have seen week after week, Tayshia is laying it all out there for Bachelorette fans. And this week she got candid about the reason her split from her husband while revealing her insecurities about a future partner. Take a look.
And like loyalty is such a big deal to me. And I literally cannot invest in someone again and then have that happen. I will not date a cheater.
Yeah, so Tayshia knows exactly what she wants.
I love that about her. I think it's so refreshing to see, but I also think that's something they've been doing, like recurring with Bachelorettes now. I feel like that's like a must. Like you got to come in ready. And I think that that's why Bachelorette is more successful than Bachelor. The women come in ready with their mind made up.
That is so true. They like come in with a plan. They know exactly what they want. And if you don't fit the bill, then you're gone. But we have to talk about Zach a little bit because, you know, he did admit at the lie detector test that he did cheat, but then later on we find out that it was with his 6th grade girlfriend. A lot of people online were not buying it. Were you?
You know, I kind of felt like it was sweet and sincere that he was saying like, oh, it happened, you know, at Bolorama. I think anyone can relate to that. I mean, you know, we all were kids at one point. Do I 100% believe it? I'm not completely sure because I feel like I wouldn't even remember if I like cheated, I guess, in 6th grade. So the fact that he immediately said, yeah, I did on the lie detector test, I feel like he had to have been thinking about something else.
I know, totally. I was like, bring that lie detector back around. I need the truth here. But in the midst of all this, he said that he was falling in love, and Tayshia also admitted that too, which I was pretty surprised about.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting when the lead like drops the L-bomb. I remember seasons ago when Ben Higgins did it with both of his final women. He said, I love you. Obviously, it's a little different because she said, I'm falling in love with you. But I think it's like, it seems early. I guess it's not because we're right around the corner from hometown dates. But it seems like that was like really soon that she would already say that. But again, she knows what she wants. I think she has a checklist and whoever makes it and, you know, doesn't, she knows.
Yeah, totally. What about you? What was your unfiltered moment of the week?
Oh man, my unfiltered moment of the week had to go to Tayshia putting Bennett in his place when she thought that he was questioning her integrity.
You don't have the right to tell somebody else that I will not end up with them.
Okay, I accept that.
So you saying that that's a 0% chance for that possibly happening is essentially questioning my integrity.
I love this moment. I thought it was so great.
I did too. I really think that it showed not only how strong she is, but how much she really thinks things through. This wasn't just like a snap reaction. She realized like, wait a minute, like him telling all the other guys how I'm feeling or how they're feeling, that's a lot more than just being like a petty guy. And I think that it just showed how like deep she is and how much she cares about this process.
Right. I feel like nobody has ever put Bennett in his place. And he was like so shocked. He's like, I cannot believe this is happening to me right now, that I'm getting sent home over this guy who's not emotionally intelligent and like 11 years younger than me, which I thought was pretty fantastic. Obviously he comes back. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later on in the show. But do you think Noah deserved to go home as well?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that she was going to send both of them home. I think she was so confused with, usually in a 2-and-1, in my opinion, there's one that's like a clear front runner that's going to end up staying. With this, it was like they both were like, Like,
Yeah.
get rid of the role. So I kind of think she was like, all right, the better of both worlds here. What can I do? And so she, you know, she kept Noah for the time being, but I was actually pretty surprised. I thought she was going to send them both home, but I did love when she came back in the room alone and she was not having it when Noah was all happy.
Yeah, she was like, this is not a victory by any means. Sit down. I love that. I love that. I thought it was great. Well, someone that knows a thing or two about 2-on-1 dates is Bachelor Nation's Jordan Kimball, who of course competed on Becca Kufrin's season of The Bachelorette.
Yes, and we recently spoke to him and got to get his take on the Noah and Bennett feud.
As someone who's been in a Bachelor feud before, is a lot of that producer like getting in your head like, oh, you hate that guy? Or do you just, because you're in the house and there's nothing else to do, you get like so hyped up about stuff that doesn't matter? Like how does this happen every season? How do they guarantee that there are two contestants who can't stand each other so they end up on this 2-on-1 date?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Sarah. So what happens essentially is we get into the house, the dynamic begins, right? And you start to, it's really such a fast process and you have to trust the process. So you kind of give this unwilling trust to these producers that are total strangers, but they're on your side. You think, I guess, kind of. I've got really close producer friends, but you know, they're there to do a job and you have to separate that from your connection with them and what they're doing. And you know, on the second or third day in the house, they may ask you, hey, is there anyone that you don't quite like? They may ask you when you go back to the hotel after night one, who didn't you like? And then that's where the feud starts. They already know because they do hours of interviews before anything even starts. They already know who's confident in talking. And that's such a big deal. When you're trying to pick a villain, you've got to find someone that's confident in talking. And so I think that they found someone with Noah, Bennett, and even Ed is kind of like this villain to me. And I thought it was going to be Yosef. Thank God he went home. But
yeah, agreed.
It definitely starts out as like a who don't you like? And then they start to put things in your head kind of deal, start to pin you against each other. And then as the time goes on, you actually start to get frustrated because you're like, dude, what is going on? You know, like you start the morning with a mimosa, try to put a little sunshine in your life. And here comes a rainy day just trying to, you know, just give you a hard time in a house and they can't travel or anything. So it's got to be extra frustrating for these guys.
Who do you think is going to win in this? I think they might both get sent home. It's going to be one of those, I would guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. If I were to think about the best thing that could happen for the season, I would say they would both go home, but something tells me Noah's here to stay for at least an episode longer, at least. Because like I said, we're going to start to whittle it down and meet families and things. And I don't think that Noah's going to be one where we meet his family. But Bennett's got to go. The Hellman's mayonnaise has got to get off the shelf. I'm tired of hearing it.
I mean, he knows exactly what it's like. He was on a 2-on-1 date, so he knows how producers kind of spin things a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely well aware of how things happen and how there's a villain drawn from the beginning. So I think that it's very clear. He's very aware.
He's very, very aware. All right, well, let's get to our bracket of roses. And like we said, this whole episode was about revealing some painful truths, and that's exactly what the guys did. So let's kick it off with Ben, who got the first 1-on-1 date. And I mean, this was a very, very heavy conversation. And I think we can probably both agree that these guys really have brought it this season and have talked a lot about their painful past. And I feel like we're getting this depth that we haven't seen in a really long time on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on social media even were saying that like all the past seasons combined, like we've never seen this many guys who, just like Tayshia, came in ready to kind of lay it all on the table and be really honest. And I think with Ben, we saw that and it was emotional and tough. I mean, that's a conversation that you have a hard time, like he said, didn't even tell his family. So to tell someone that you've known for such a short time and be so open about that on national TV, I mean, I give him a lot of credit regardless of what happens, because I think that it's a very, very emotional moment.
Oh my God, totally. And I can't imagine what it must have been like for his family to watch this too, because like you said, he never even told his sister that his sister saved his life, which is, you know, like a very, very heavy moment, and good for him to kind of speak out about it, because I'm sure it helps a lot of people that are going through the same things as well. But yeah, I mean, and I thought Tayshia handled that very well too, because that's a conversation that you're probably not expecting to have. But, you know, she just said, I'm here for you. I see you. And I'm so glad that you are still here.
Yeah, I give her so much credit, because I think with things like that, there's no right or wrong way to respond. Well, there is a wrong way to respond, of course, but there's no like, you know, book on how to react to that in the moment, especially when you're that shocked. So I think she just really handled it with such class and poise.
She definitely did. And then another conversation that I'm still trying to figure out is with Riley. So, you know, he failed the lie detector test when they asked him his true name. So then he told a story about, you know, how he had a bad relationship with his dad later on. He ended up legally changing his name, but I'm still a little confused about it. And I think a lot of people were as well.
Yeah, I think that there wasn't much explanation. Like, he tried his best, I guess, to explain it, but you would think he would have that story so clear in his mind that he would have been able to explain it a little easier, because I couldn't really follow. And I assume that Tayshia was feeling the same way. I mean, she has all these conversations happening at the same time, and I'm sure she's just like, okay, so what? Like, but I guess I was also right away when he, like, the light went off that he had lied about his name. I'm shocked she didn't give like a follow-up question.
Right. You're like, so
wait, what?
Wait, like, back up here. That is a pretty important thing. But I mean, he was very emotional about it. I mean, a lot of people were saying that he's still hiding something. So who knows if that's going to come out later on, or if she's going to meet the family. We have no idea, but we'll have to wait and see. Another big one was Brendan, and it just does not seem like he is ready for these next steps, because I mean, he even said, I don't know if I'm ready for an engagement at the end of this. I don't know if I'm ready to meet your family or if you can meet mine. So it really seems like he's like, I can't believe that I'm still here.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like on cloud nine and like almost like, wait, what's happening? He doesn't really grasp how important this is and how serious she's taking it. And I think that, I assume that she will see that, or that she has seen that a little bit. He reminds me of like the friend that you really like, and he's really sweet and cuddly, but at the end of the day you're like, we couldn't really have like a real future.
Right.
He's a sweet guy. I just don't see him being in like ready for like an adult serious relationship, marriage, that kind of stuff at this point.
I do too. I don't know. I'm like kind of getting a feeling that she might give him the hometown, because I feel like they always like go with the one that is a little on the fence about things, that he might like break her heart later on. I don't know, but we're going to have to wait and see. But like we said, I think the guys are really kind of putting it all out there. But of course they leave us on a cliffhanger. I'm like, I just want to know who's going to hometowns. I mean, out of everybody, who do you what's your prediction?
Well, I mean, I know we saw that Ben obviously was like formed such the connection, but I think you're probably right. I think Brendan probably is going. I would kind of assume that you're on the right thing with that, because like you said, they like to mix it up and sometimes throw in somebody, but also she does seem to really like him. She seems to have a connection with him. So there must be something we're not seeing.
There must be something. I think my other one is probably Zach. And the fourth one I'm still on the fence about. I don't really know.
I love Zach. I hope that Zach gets it, because I think they have such a great connection.
I do too. They really do. And you see week after week, and you know, he's a very emotional guy too. Like, you see him getting very, very emotional when he's talking about introducing Tayshia to his family. So it seems like he's like really in it to win it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to our cringe moment of the week.
All right, this one is very easy for me. It has to be when Bennett decided to return after being sent home to profess his love for Tayshia.
And I realized in that moment that I love you.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like speechless right now.
So it was awkward for us, but like not for Tayshia. I'm like, why isn't she just sending him home?
I would just be like, that's sweet, but you gotta go. Like, don't you know this show works? Like, that makes me think it might be the work of the producers or something, because why would he wait to say I love you? Why would he say it then? I mean, I guess you sometimes don't know what you have until you've lost it. But I just don't think that that's the case with him. He is creepy to the max.
He's like giving me such creepy vibes. Like, he needs to go. And I mean, obviously I don't think that he's going to be making it to the end, but stranger things have happened.
That is true. If I was the other men, I'd be so irritated also. I hate when people come back ever. I think it's
too. No. I can't wait to see Noah's reaction next week when Bennett returns. Another quick moment for me is when Riley decided to celebrate their anniversary of 1 week. I mean, like, it just kind of puts these in perspective. Like, they've only known each other for 1 week. This is insane.
It feels like this show has been on for 84 years this season, so I don't understand how it's only been 1 week. If I was her, I would be a little bit like thrown off by that. I think it's a little, I get that it was just coming from a sweet place. I don't think he's, you know, like malicious at all or, you know, knocking the process. But I do think it was just funny that he had this, you know, picture frame that he probably got from like the lobby of the hotel and had this picture of them put in it.
I know, it's just so crazy, but like, and then it just puts into perspective like that people are saying I love you already and falling in love 1 week. Like, what goes on in this Bachelor bubble? Like, I need to know.
It is not the bubble I've ever lived in, that's for sure.
Seriously. All right, moving on to the Where Are They Now segment, but this week it's actually a Who Are They? So
yeah, so week after week we've been hearing about Tayshia's ex, but who exactly is Josh Burrell? Because I feel like we know a lot about him.
I know. I feel like she talks about him a lot. We don't really know, you know, she doesn't show any pictures, obviously, because he wants to keep his private life private. But he is a roofing contractor. They were married for, you know, just a couple years. They went in 2016, but he filed for divorce in October of 2017. And I don't think a lot of people probably realize that he was the one that filed.
Yeah, and he was her first boyfriend. Like, he was her first and only boyfriend. She saved herself until marriage to sleep with him, and she's talked about how she's not going to make that decision this time around, which I find is interesting. Yeah. But yeah, when he filed, he claimed that they had been living separate lives in the documents, which I find very interesting. And she, you know, she opened up the first time about it on Colton's season and explained how heartbroken she was and how she was like kind of in it for the long run. When she got married, she thought it was it. So it seems like she was really, really heartbroken. But I think that this just backs up the fact that she's like so in it to find true love.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, you know, she spoke about it again on Nick Viall's podcast, and she said that I didn't want to get divorced. Like, I got married to stay married. So, and then she kind of alluded to it in this episode too, that maybe cheating was involved. We don't know exactly what happened, but you know, now she has moved on. Both parties have moved on, and she's ready to take the next step.
I'm happy for her. I think that we don't always see somebody who's been married already on Bachelor Nation. And I think it's kind of a nice thing to see that, like, it wasn't like she just like got married one day or something. It was like, clearly she thought she had found the one before. So it was obviously a sad situation, but she's in a great place now.
She really is. And we are going to be recapping it every single week. Next week, there's 2 parts. We have the hometown dates and Men Tell All, which I'm always very excited about. I always love Men Tell All. But Emily, thank you so much for breaking down all things Bachelorette with me.
Thank you, Christina. Anytime.
Definitely. We'll make sure to check out Here for the Right Reasons every Wednesday on Us Weekly's YouTube channel. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. And for all your Bachelorette needs, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com. We will see you next week.